Welcome to Talk of the Tavern. A little about us, we're your at-home interactive weekly geek con, all blended with wit, sarcasm, and a pub-like atmosphere. We're adults talking about adult topics and using adult language. We laugh and make jokes about almost everything. We don't intend to upset, but some folks have their feelings hurt easily. This is all done in humor in the style of the great offenders such as George Carlin, Red Fox, Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, Robin Williams, Wanda Sykes, Sam Kinison, George Lopez, Lisa Lampanelli, Chris Rock, and others. So grab your vice of choice, sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy yourself in the company of great people, hot toddies, and guests alike, because here we come.
Put that long day behind you. Good times lie ahead. With company worth keeping, that'll bash a smile in your head. Come on in, the door's open. You'll find just the finest folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and lend our stories your ear. Cause we're the talk at the tavern. Here you're always welcome. The talk at the tavern. Promising beer and bedlam. The talk at the tavern. Music, medicine, then some. The talk at the tavern. The song's over. Here we come.
And welcome to Tuesday, June 19th episode of Talk of the Tavern, where we're going to talk about... Yay! Automatic reaction. Yay!
Oh, I just want to say, if you are blocked from chat, just verify your email.
Oh.
That should fix it.
We like I just did.
Mm-hmm.
Goonies! Funky Punk. Why do I know? Funky Punk, who are you? I know you. And by the way, Uni, thank you for the subscribe. Appreciate that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Great way to start a show. Really appreciate that. Uni Tuesday.
Here.
Yeah, that's right. And then we'll do the actual intro. Oh, there we go.
We'll do a toast.
We're
I have
toasting
water.
already.
He has wine.
I had water, but I turned it into wine. Chuck! We know Chuck. That Chuck. Okay, I know more than one Chuck. So, Chuck, it's been a while. Good to see you, buddy. Here's one of the fat boys. Here's to the fat boys. Here's to breaking out of work and doing silly shit. Okay, let's do some intros here. Let me start with the lovely, talented, and cookie-eating Andrea. Is that a cookie?
Of course you do that when I put a cracker in my mouth.
That's right.
Vices today, of course. Toasted cheeses. The burnt ones, they're my favorite.
They're good.
Water and tea over there somewhere.
Very good.
Yay.
And then we also have one of our previous co-hosts and also the woman who runs Radio Riel, which we're going to talk about at length. An amazing supporter of the show since the first time I mentioned it to her, and a good friend. We have Gabrielle Riel.
Hi, guys.
What's your vices?
You're asking me that right now?
Absolutely. Just whip him out. Put him in front of the camera.
Well, I'm having beer. Beer's, I suppose I call it a vice. It's a stunning Molson Golden.
Oh, a stunning
So
one.
there you go.
You got hit with the bottle level stuff.
Yeah.
It's weak group. It's all right. It's a good group.
Yeah. Other vices.
That you're going to have on the show.
Reality shows?
Okay.
On the show. I was going to say tacky reality shows. Is this a tacky reality show? Are we doing that right now?
Yeah, this is.
It can be.
We're not known for our class.
So, no, that's going to be it for vices for me.
Okay.
I'm not going to share the rest. They're secret.
Yes, well, I doubt you're going to be doing them on the show. But I could
Right.
be wrong. We don't know.
Exactly. You don't know what I'm doing in other windows on here.
Hold on, I've got to Google some stuff real quick for that one. And Chuck says, "Damn." It's so everybody give a shout out. Let us know what your vices are right now, even if it's being stuck at work and whining about it. Just let us know what you're doing while you're here and all that good stuff. I see Kennedy. I'm not going to call any lurkers out but I'll call Kennedy out because he's a regular and likes us to say his name. Kennedy. Oh, right.
That's
me.
the only reason he shows up.
I'm Travis. I'm your host, and my vices today. I have a couple pipes here loaded, a nice, beautiful freehand, and then a nice silver band that I don't have my reading glasses. Can't tell you the name of the brand. And the tobacco is actually a nice English Peter Heinrich. and it has 15 years of age to it. So it's well aged. Oh, thank you, Chuck. Appreciate that. If you like, also subscribe, and I think you're already following, so you probably get notifications when we go live. I have a Pinot Grigio. I know the bottle was green. I don't remember the type. It was green with a mustard golden label. That's what I get for not paying attention, huh? It's like I'm alone, but being watched. Are you muted?
Me? Oops.
Well, either of you. I know Andrea's muted. She's crackering. I'm just making sure. I'm like, I was suddenly very alone.
Just briefly muted. I'm back. Sorry.
It's okay. Chuck says I get notifications when all the cameras in your house go live. Yeah, you do. Especially that one.
Yeah, you do.
Here.
Don't be aggressive.
Are you familiar with Bridesmaids, the movie?
Yes.
That's a quote from there where they're talking about penises and how they stare at you and they're always so aggressive.
It's like, is that the balls?
So anyhow, opening toast. Here's
that
you reuniting with those friends that support you, laugh with you, and don't forget you.
Cheers.
This one is better than the other. There was 2 open bottles of Pinot Grigio in the fridge because Andrea's been trying different wines to see what she likes and whatnot. So she drinks some and goes, just leaves it in the fridge. So now I'm like, oh, I want to have, a little something here for the show. And I don't have what I normally drink. So I'm trying open bottles of wine that she...
There's like 5 bottles and they're open.
Hey, you might as well work your way through them during the shows.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've left them in there.
They're the ones I don't like.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Dragon Slayer, what is that icon you just put up there?
Mm-hmm.
I can't... Oh my god. Okay, now I don't think the viewers can see it.
I don't know what that is.
Ladies, can you see up over my left shoulder the cat in the window?
Yes.
How much is that cat in the window?
He has fallen asleep while sitting up with his legs sprawled open, his head thrown back, and he's snoring. Let me do this for the other viewers.
That's Mr. Bitey Otter, isn't it?
Yeah. You guys see him right above my finger there? Yeah.
Mr. Bitey Otter.
His legs all spread, his hands tucked right over his crotch, and yeah, his head thrown back, and he's snoring while... God, that is hilarious. Hold on, I'm sorry.
Cute.
It's a photo opportunity.
I can, yeah.
That's right. This is
So if you follow Talk of the Tavern on Instagram or Twitter, that's probably going to be there.
I'll give it to Andrea.
Because that's what we do.
Andrea loves posting the cat pictures, and they do get great responses. So between those 2 factors, I just
Who
have
doesn't
to
like cat pictures?
Stupid people.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Gabby, you a cat girl or a dog girl?
I'm a dog girl, but it's time for me to get used to cats.
Uh-oh. Why, what happened?
I have cats coming into my life, so time to get used to cats. I like cats. They just don't tend to like me. So, but no, I'm a dog person.
Well, I find my cats behave like dogs because the way I treat them. They will meet me at the door, roll over and shell belly, and we have more than a handful. So you'll have like 5 of them laying in front of you on the floor, one of them not in the room, one peeking around the corner, and the other one sitting on the couch judging all the other ones for laying on their back and showing belly.
That's what she does.
By the way, it's never the same cat sitting on the couch. The next time, that one will be on the floor belly up, and there'll be a different cat going, "You people."
But they all do funny things, and there's videos on the YouTube channel. And there's pictures on the Instagram of these cats.
When we go to the video break, I'll play one of the cat break videos. So if you get back before us, if you just watch it on Twitch, you'll see. And they're all our cats. I don't do videos with other people's cats. It's
And that's what the internet was made for,
That's right.
pictures of cats.
He woke up.
Cats and porn.
Yep, that too.
But yeah, with my cats, I rumple them like you rumple a dog, and I ignore them the way you ignore your dog because they're annoying and love you too much, and then I give them way too much attention more than they want, and it all evens out where they behave as much like a dog as a dog. And then Andrea, when she streams, she has cat cams. She will actually just keep a game up, no camera on her, but 2 cameras on the floor for the cats. And then she'll use the red dot and catnip, and there you go, Chuck. Random pussy. You got it, buddy. That's how we roll. What else we got for the intro? Gabby, how have you been? Let's talk about that before we get talking about the shows and everything else. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excellent.
Your kid doing okay?
28. Yeah, he's hanging in there.
Okay.
And 2018 has been very good to me. Just lots of
nice
good stuff happening in my life. Yeah. So,
Thank
and that's going to be working its way down to Radio Riel too.
Awesome.
But
whatever
busy?
we can do to help and support, let us do.
Good. Excellent. And likewise.
You were saying busy?
Yeah, just busy with, well, what it's like life with a kid and all that. And yeah, lots of cool activities, lots of cool concerts. So this year was about touching base with things I love. And obviously I love music. So,
right.
But yeah, I can't believe that it's halfway through June.
Pretty much
so I
halfway
guess
through the year now.
It literally is time flies while you're having fun. So
that's great, though.
Oh my God. Yeah. So very cool.
And when the end of your time comes, if you're like, I'm done already, then you did good in life.
I agree.
If you're like, wow, it just wasn't enough time to do everything, then you lived. Lived. That's the way to be. It's just like when people they look at Andrea in my life and they're like, I wish I could do that. And I'm like, you can. You just go do it. It's that simple.
Yep.
And then they're like, oh, you're always so busy. And I'm like, yeah, because I want to be. If I don't want to be busy, I schedule not busy time.
Which you have to do.
You do.
Oh, yeah.
But then after, anywhere from a half day to 3 days later, I'm like, I am going nuts and I have to go do 50 things right now.
Please, I need to get on air and do broadcasts all afternoon. And then you'll feel better.
Well, there's times where, like on weekends when I don't do broadcasts, I'll go outside and do the spray paint art or editing books or whatever house project, setting up a fire pit, whatever, just something to.
Okay, I love you even more. You edit books for fun.
Well, don't go crazy on that one. I edit. The writing is the fun part. The editing is what I do because you have to.
Because you have to.
Because you have to.
Yeah. And by editing, just for anybody who is judgy out there, I don't edit my own books. I take my first draft, clean it up, send it to an editor. When they bring it back to me, I go through it again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the minimum
process.
Steps. Yeah, there might be more of rewrites or beta readers or a second edit or whatever it needs, but that's the minimum.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's fun. It's my least. It's like, yeah, Andrea.
When you finish your thought.
It's like laundry. I don't mind doing laundry. I just hate putting it away. Yeah.
A little too tedious there.
I guess it's I will take it, put it in separate it, wash or dryer, hang it up, and even fold it. Just getting it from there into the closet. For some reason,
it's easier just to leave it and use it again.
Yes, it is. What was your thought there, Andrea?
I just want to say, since we have some viewers
laundry,
now.
Not that.
Oh, what?
I don't know. She laughed when you said leave it and use it again. I thought maybe she went somewhere else.
No, I didn't. I was laughing because I do that too.
You're not allowed.
It's an adult thing. It's all good.
So that's why I was laughing. I was feeling a little guilty.
Now that we have a few viewers collected, what do you want to do, Andrea?
I just want to say, hey, everybody, check your Amazon stuff, whatever cards you have attached to your Amazon. Amazon has been hacked. I had a bunch of charges that were not mine. So I talked to Amazon. Customer service was great. They fixed everything. And then I called my bank, and my bank said they've had a lot of calls this morning about this, having to replace cards and change numbers. So check it out. Protect yourself.
When did this happen? When did they contact you?
They didn't.
Oh, they didn't. When did you find out?
The past few days, there's been some weird charges on my
activity. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like it took money out, put money back. Took money out, and I'm like, when it finally wasn't pending and it was posted and all this money was out, that's when I called. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Why was I charged so much for stuff I didn't get? And then come to find out, it was John Wick. John Wick used my card.
Yeah, the Amazon person went, do you know John Wick?
Sorry.
That's who used your card. And I'm like, I didn't laugh. I wanted to. I'm like, oh my God.
That's when my son shouted from the other room, he was buying dog toys. Too soon?
No.
Poor Andrea.
But, so just check your stuff. That's all.
Yeah, check your stuff.
I'm done.
Okay.
Check your stuff, y'all.
Other things I'll say for our newer viewers. Just below the video screen on the bottom right, just underneath the tip jar outside of the video screen, you'll see a share button. When we roll into our refill breaks, I'm going to yell share. So you just click on that, share it to Twitter, Facebook, or both, whatever you like. Bring your friends in, make them come have a good time. Kennedy, thank you for doing that last night. We definitely saw a jump in our audience after you did that. So big help, buddy.
Yeah, lots of bullets.
Yeah. See that? Chuck says you don't mess with his dog, and Kennedy says lots of bullets, I guess, on that John Wick charge. Yes, Andrew?
I'm looking at the share button. Now, I know what Twitter is. I know what Facebook is. I don't know what Reddit or the blah, blah, blah is. I know what copy to clipboard is.
Oh,
Okay.
Reddit? Reddit. Reddit. I don't even know how to refer to Reddit. The giant black hole of all sorts of interesting things.
It's what the frog did?
It's the original internet thread. It's the one that popularized the thread with the indented things below, but it's a giant forum.
It's forums, I think, is the best way to describe them.
Oh.
As for vk.com, which is what you're seeing as vkontakl, that's, you know how you have the Russian social media? That's them.
Okay.
So, matter of fact, I'll just go share to them real quick.
Well, you can also do the copy link because Instagram will not let you post from your computer. It's only from your mobile device.
That's true.
So
hold on a second. Let me do this. And we will get to the top. We're just doing the intro right now, Gabby. In case it's been too long for you to remember. What the hell was that?
It hasn't been that long. I was on last fall.
It was on our 5th anniversary.
Anniversary show. Yep.
That's right. It's So, and I'm going to do this here also. There we go. See that? I did it all on Facebook and Twitter earlier today, but now I can do it on the other social medias. Trying to bring some...
Yeah, I did that, and then I just hit the share button.
There you go. I hit the
If you share it more than once, you have to change the little message. Just so you know.
On Twitter. Only on Twitter.
Oh.
Because Twitter won't let you post the same tweet more than once. Same one. Kennedy says if you ever want to post on Instagram from your computer, you can fake out being a mobile device on some browsers. I don't think Google does it. Oh, by the way, about the bullets, I was going to say, you know, we all know what whiskey stones are, right?
Mm-hmm. Have a bunch.
They're the stones you put in your whiskey, so it's like ice, but it doesn't water it down.
It's a rock.
Have whiskey bullets, so they're molded steel bullets that you put in the freezer and then drop in whatever you're drinking to cool it down without icing it. By the way, Gabby, I have paused my Twitch, and I have the best smile ever on your frozen face on Twitch right now.
Okay.
It's just You're so happy. It's great.
I told you I'm having a good year.
That's awesome. Now, anything you want to
That's great
share?
because nobody says that.
Yeah, it's everybody's like, oh, I can't wait for next year. So
Shut up.
yeah, exactly.
So awesome.
Yes. Awesome.
I agree.
Oh, wow.
No, I made some changes. I sold one of my businesses, and so life is less stressful. Obviously, Radio Reel still exists, so that wasn't the one that I unloaded, but I did unload one of my other businesses. And like I said, I've been focusing on doing things I really love. So
Good.
for those of you who have not met me before, I have a 14-year-old son on the autism spectrum, and I'm, in addition to my businesses, obviously I focus on him a lot.
Right.
And when you're a parent in general, and also when you're a parent of a special needs child, that can just suck up your life.
Yeah.
And this year is the year that I was like, I have got to take some damn time and just do some fun things. And so that's what I've been doing.
So, what fun things have you been doing? Can you speak about it publicly, or does it need to be whispered in the dark to someone?
Okay, 95% of it, I can't talk about. It needs to be whispered in the dark.
Ding, ding, ding. Way to go.
Good for you.
Okay. The other 5%, like I said, I've been going to concerts and spending more time with my friends, scheduling dinners, and I have been, gasp, exercising.
How's that going?
Really well. So.
Good. Feeling better, looking better?
Yep, I am. And I love to go dancing. I love going clubbing, and I've done that for the first time since I became a mom. So, I'm like, finally.
So, Andrea and I have been doing something similar. And for cardio, we have the Just Dance video game. And we will get out there for a half hour to an hour, depending on how we're feeling. And yeah, we'll work up a sweat and everything with this stupid. And then it replays the video where it took like 2 seconds or 3 seconds of video of us during the song, and it'll replay it. And we're like, oh God, we're horrible. Play it again.
But see, because we have cats, when they play it, you'll see a cat over here, and then you'll see it over here.
Like they're teleporting.
You'll see it up here, you'll see it over there.
So it's a good time. Okay, I guess that's good enough for the intro. We'll ramble randomly. Let's talk about what you do. Let's talk about Radio Reel, a little bit about Second Life, and just see where things go.
Oh, yeah. Both are very large rabbit holes, so.
Did you say rat holes?
Rat or rabbit.
Oh, okay. Rabbit.
Yeah.
Probably better.
Rabbit holes. Yes,
rat hole
rabbit.
on the bad day.
Yeah. No. No.
To give everybody an abbreviated, and then I'll let you expand on it. The basis of Radio Reel, which, Andrea, if you'll post the link for us, please, is, and like I said, I'm going to let Gabby expand on it, but she has 7 different streams on one website, and they're all, each stream is a different type of music. So you have Volksmusik, which is like German folk music, Diesel Punk, which is a lot of electro, swing, that sort of thing, which that's my favorite. Ragtime, which I love ragtime anyway. Steampunk, which I have long supported and been a part of. Reverie, which you said that's more gentle, flowing type, relaxing music.
Yes, relaxing.
So it's not that trumpet thing the military does to wake you up. That's revelry.
No, exactly.
Very different.
Reveille, not reverie.
That's right. Thank you. Revelry. Damn it. Anyhow, and then Fantasy Fair, which is the more Ren Fair type music, and then
with soundtracks.
Okay, and then the main. What's on the main?
Main is eclectic. It has we run a base program of mostly classical music and English classical music on it, but we also run special programs, special themed programs. So at some point you might tune in and get the music of the Baroque and just Baroque music, or you might tune in on a holiday like Christmas.
Day, yeah.
And it'll all be Christmas music. So we change the themes just according to either our whim or what's going on in the world.
But a great station, and also, depending on what it is, they have audio dramas. They hosted Talk of the Tavern on their station for years and would still
Years.
now
Yes.
if we hadn't had a technical difficulty. So definitely worth checking out. Okay, what I miss, Gabby?
Well, you hit the highlights, really. We just turned 11. That's
Woo!
the one thing. Yeah, I've been on air 11 years. Although we
Here,
didn't
here.
start with
Mhm.
7 streams. Travis listed 7 streams. We started with 1, the mainstream. But yeah, we turned 11. It's amazing. I'm like, I've been doing this for 11 years. Are you kidding me? And then as the years went on, we added the different themes and the different streams. But Radio Real is primarily music for geeks, for people who have these really specific, eclectic tastes in music. And my goal is to add more streams. You know, we're not going to stop at 7. My goal is to put in some more, and it tends to be stuff that's connected to history, stuff that's connected to literature, stuff that, that geeks are really into.
Now, let me ask you. Is pipes and cigars is the tobacco lifestyle, and I mean tobacco, not other lifestyles, is that geeky or not?
I think it is, in a good way.
Yeah, I think it is also, because there's a finesse to it, there's a style to it.
Right. It's very esoteric. And that's the type of person who listens to Radio Real. People with these like really kind of deep interests in specific areas, like true lovers of what they do, and what it can be anything, like you said, cigars.
The reason I
Or-
ask is, hey Chuck, you want your own show? She needs content. But she doesn't
I
need
do.
it, but she can use it. How about that?
Yes, I always can. And that's the other thing. We're always looking for people who run music broadcasts, but other types of broadcasts. Because when you guys started off as Sounds of Steam, music was a part of it, but like 2/3 of it was more topics, steampunk topics, and that was perfect for us. So if you run music, great. But if you don't run music, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't consider you for Radio Real. So.
And so if anybody watching also needs to know, it doesn't have to be a live broadcast. It can be, but it can be pre-recorded and then sent over and put in the time slot. Just please keep it regular. Don't send 3 1 week and then none for 2 months and then 1 and then don't do that.
Right. It has to be a regularly scheduled thing that people follow up with.
If you're going to do 3 and send them all at the same time, then in 4 weeks you should be sending another 3. That's all. Just
exactly.
Can be scheduled. But
so, how did you start this? What made you start it? And first broadcast, how did you get there?
Oh my goodness, this is a crazy story, because this is like one of those things that you just fall into. This was not planned. I don't have. My career was in information technology training. I didn't have a background in radio at all. What I did have
information technology, right?
Yeah, well, and internet radio is. I mean, that there was a link there. It wasn't that hard for me to figure out how to set it all up because of my background. But one thing I did have was a love of music, huge love of music, and I was someone who, while I hadn't actually DJ'd, I had done all sorts of music programming for my friends, like for weddings and other types of events. I had created playlists and burned CDs and then run music for people. But this all happened when I joined the virtual world Second Life in 2006. So it's been over 12 years now.
If I may, real quick, for anybody who doesn't know, Second Life is essentially a online massive multiplayer game with no quest missions, etc. So it's all kind of like live action role playing or whatever you want to do in this virtual world. You build buildings, you make your own outfits, you control exactly your own height, weight, hairs, gender, etc., etc. And so it's this huge open sandbox.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And it's people who are really creative. And I mean, when I say creative, I mean any kind of creative. I've seen other people who've created real life businesses out of this virtual environment. I've seen people end up writing books. I've seen people who were playing music live online start playing music live in clubs. I've seen people who DJ'd online become actual DJs in London. I mean, this is where people kind of took their creative passion, really ran with it, and then they were like, oh, I can do this as my job full time. I can actually follow my creative passion. And that's what happened to me too.
It was the gateway drug to
Yeah.
doing what they love.
Yeah, it really was, because Second Life has a pretty wretched reputation. It really does.
I guess the reputation is more from people trolling for sex, I think, than anything.
Exactly.
But
And
again, it depends what community you put yourself in, what environment.
But you have that everywhere too.
You have that at
You can
Kmart.
find that everywhere.
right, you're exactly right. And I mean, if you look back at the earliest days of the internet, people who weren't using it, all they heard were the stories of how it was for sex and pornography. That was like, those were the stories that circulated.
And it is. We're not denying those stories.
Well, exactly. But they thought, well, that's the only reason that you would do this. And it's the same thing for that virtual environment as well. But I went in because, again, my background, information technology training. I thought, oh, could you use this like for education? Could you actually hold classes here? That was my original goal. And what I ended up stumbling into was a steampunk community, a neo-Victorian steampunk community. And I had no idea what the heck steampunk was. I mean, this was back in 2006. So the word steampunk was like not very well known. And yeah, at the time, I mean, it was really, the scene was just starting. It had been around for a couple of years. And so what ended up happening was I felt this was an actual community of people, other people interested in steampunk, other people interested in the Victorian era. And there was a level of role play going on. And I had never done anything like this. Like I hadn't done like IRC. I hadn't done AOL chat. I hadn't done forums. I mean, I knew what these things were because of my background, but I had never done any of that stuff. And I just thought it was incredibly weird. But all of a sudden there's this community and these people, and they're amazing and they're smart and they're brilliant and they're funny and they're creative. And one of the very first things I stumbled into when I was wandering around as my avatar was I heard someone for the first time broadcasting over the internet, an internet radio broadcast. Because for me, internet radio had always been just pre-recorded, automated stuff. I'd never actually heard a person talk on it. And I heard this woman, and I was just like, oh, I'm so going to do that. I don't know how she's doing that, but I'm so doing that. I mean, it was instant. And what I ended up doing was decided to provide classical music for this community I was in. And I started playing actual events and DJing, which I had never done before. And but then after I'd done that for maybe a month, this idea hit me of, wait a minute, this isn't just playing shows, and this isn't just in Second Life. This could be a radio station, and this could be a radio station for anyone who's into classical music, steampunk, the Victorian era, let's go all Charles Dickens, Lewis Carroll, H.G. Wells, anyone who's into that kind of a thing. Oh my God, they need a radio station. And so I made one. That's what I did.
So now, just so everybody knows, and my regular viewers know, I'm a seat of the pants type guy. I can start any project with going out and buying almost nothing and then just wiring it all together and rolling with it. And then later get the stuff that I should have had to start with So what about you? Did you like go, let me go get a bunch of equipment, or did you just go, I've got this, I've got this. Look, I can make it work.
Yes, I did the latter. I did the seat of the
Yeah.
pants.
Absolutely.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I already had some equipment because
Mhm.
I was DJing, and
Right.
but it was just basic equipment. It was nothing fancy, and it was not meant for radio.
Mhm.
Um, I also had a ton of music, and I was like, I can run this. I've got enough music to run this. I could do this. But the thing that for me that was the key were the people, because I have a staff that is all over the world. My staff has been with me the whole time. These are people who've been with me for 10 and 11 years.
Mhm.
When I started playing the music, all of a sudden, all these people who were interested in the same thing started coming to me and asking me questions. How are you doing this? What are you doing? Can you show me how to DJ? And I said to them all, I was like, well, yeah, I can, but how do you feel about helping out with the radio station? So
See,
I kind of
such
I made a bargain with them.
that's a such better answer. When people come to me going, Travis, how do you do what you do? I'm like, let me show you. And then I sit there with no staff going, I wish I had somebody to help.
No, from the get-go, I was like, sure, I'll help you, but yeah, I'd like your help too.
You're
But then the
smarter than
people
me.
who, I got to give it up to the people who came to me, because they had the interest and they had the love. None of them were flaky. They all were serious about finding out about more about internet radio, finding out more about broadcasting. And so that was really how the station became the station, was this group of people who all came to me, literally just, it was like a magnet. Just all of a sudden they were there knocking on my door, and I said, okay. But what was funny is that I'd never been in any kind of a management position. I'd never been anybody's boss. And now I've got all these people showing up and being like, hi, we want to work for you. And I was like, okay, all right. I guess I'm a boss now.
By
But
default.
yeah, but obviously it worked.
Mhm.
And no, it was just magical. That's the only word that I can use for it. It was magical in how the idea came to me, how the people came to me. The growth was automatic. I did have people come to me with serious music
Mhm.
industry and broadcasting experience. So even though
Nice.
I didn't have any, they did.
And by
So
the way, for anybody watching this, let me make it clear. None of this is, if you're a South Park fan, a underwear gnome plan. It is not step 1, do this thing, step 3, profit. Step 2 is huge. Between doing this thing and not losing money, I'm not even making a profit, just not losing money.
exactly.
It's a long road, and
Very
it's
much
a
so.
windy road. So, yeah, don't
So
think. Go ahead,
is
Andrea.
this money, or is this something you just do?
This is something I just do at this point. It floats itself. And I mean, there's a little bit of money that comes in, but what ends up happening is I end up putting it right back into the station. I end up putting it, that's,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
well, that's what happens. The one thing that I've been working towards for all these years and has been stop and start because I'm a special needs mom and that takes me off in another direction, is I do want to get us established as a nonprofit. So when there's more money involved, we're never going to be a commercial radio station. And by the way, you can't make money in commercial radio anyway. That just
Really?
doesn't happen. Oh God, not on the internet. And I'm talking, commercial radio in general. I mean, it's all been bought out in terms of classic terrestrial radio. It's all been bought out by these huge corporations. None of the people that work for those corporations, other than the upper management, make any money.
Right, they're all wage slaves.
Right. And then in terms of internet radio, oh no, there are very, very few players who make money, and the money that they make is pretty much a modest amount. I mean, there are groups like Soma FM, there are groups like Radio Paradise who have done well, who have expanded and who make enough money, but it's a modest amount. There is not big money in internet radio. And the majority of the stations out there, I mean, Radio Riel, we're lucky that we float.
Right.
We're lucky that we float. That's like a miracle. Most other small, and we're a mid to large size internet radio station at this point. We started small, but now we're bigger. We're not huge. We're not like a Selma FM, but we are bigger. Most are little tiny mom and pop, one pop shops, 1-2 people, and not only are they not making money, but they're quote unquote losing money. Right. They're pouring their own money into it.
Well, as somebody that works with their passion and does what if we can get to a point where we no longer lose money on doing what we love, we've accomplished a huge step. Now, if you can actually turn a profit, that's just icing on the cake at that point.
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So yeah, I think that was a good thing to mention, Travis, because no, this is not the way to
get
riches. No.
Andrea?
So okay, you're not making money off of this. Sometimes you're losing money, and your staff is basically working because they love it, not because it's paying the bills.
Yep.
What can people do?
Thank you. Hunger for profit.
Oh, here, Zoe. What can people do to support, your station and other ones like that?
Thank you, Chuck. Here's to you, bud.
It depends on the station. Most of the, I'd say like 99% of the other little stations out there are, all of us, even, I don't want to say us, it's ad-based revenue. So
how about for you? What can people do to actively
support you?
Help support
here. We love you.
Well, you could actually just straight up donate money to us.
Good answer.
I don't. That's from they can do that on the website.
Actually, no. They'll have to contact me via email. So, which is gabrielle.riel@gmail.com. So at this point, we've taken some donations through PayPal. I'm not taking a bunch because I'm at this point where I'm like I want people to be able to take a tax write off on it, and I don't want to say, oh, here, give me your just give me your money, and it's not a write off, you're just giving us money.
You're not
real quick, just
go ahead, Andrea,
because I'm trying to put this in the chat so people because all the people that want to give you money, I want to give them a way to give you money to donate.
Okay.
So Gabrielle, Gabriell.
I can put it in.
Okay.
I can put it in.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're on here.
I'm in the chat. I'm right here. Yeah.
Well, that makes it easy.
Most guys never figured out. You're so techie. You have figured out how to do Twitch.
I know. I'm techie.
It's there we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. No, I got it all figured out. But
you guys can drop her a line even if you want to know more about her shows, her station,
say hi,
etc.
Or help give her content.
That too.
And by the way, for you indie bands out there, Gabby and I would quite often trade music back and forth. Now, we always checked with the bands before we handed their music across, but generally when I got any new music, I told them, hey, I'm going to give this to the stations so you get more airtime, etc., etc. Is that cool with you? So, yeah, if you know a band, contact her. Drop her some MP3 files. Now, she can't go out there and buy every band's music. You need to give her MP3 tracks. MP3 is the preferred method, right?
Yes, it is.
I prefer MP3 too. So anyhow, there's that. Okay, where were we?
I don't know. Where were we?
I don't know where we were either.
Not making money?
Support.
Not making money? How to support?
So,
how to support
giving content,
your station.
Giving music.
Not telling everyone about it.
Music donations, those are huge. And I've had a combination of bands contact me and give me music, but I've also just had listeners say, hey, I know about these great bands, or hey, I would love to give you a bunch of English country dance, and they have sent me CDs, actual CDs, or they have bought me digital music downloads as gifts and then sent me the links. So, of course, it's good to check with me first to make sure it fits on one of the streams. Don't just randomly send music, but I've had a lot of listeners donate music to us, which is huge.
And also, if you're a DJ, there's nothing to say you can't do your own playlist and do a show.
Exactly. And I'm always looking. I told you our mainstream, we do sometimes these daily themes.
Mhm.
Again, this is mostly classical music, but if you're a classical music geek and you've got a massive classical music library, and the concept of like, oh, I'd love to do a show on the mandolin, if that's like your thing,
I've heard some beautiful mandolin.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
contact me. Because anyone who has that depth of their music library and who's that much of a music geek, I'd love to have more people to help me run the mainstream.
Yeah.
That's something I definitely need help with.
What were you going to ask?
So, yeah, I was going to ask, do you have to have is there any legal thing you have to worry about with music?
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
what does that entail? Because when people give you music, it can't be from like some national band, right?
It can
Mostly
be from
indie?
it can be from anyone because
Oh, okay.
we're licensed.
Oh,
Now I'm not going to get into the disaster that is internet radio licensing.
just the basics.
It's so messed up, and it's one of the reasons why you can't make money in internet radio is because the fees charged to internet radio broadcasters for licensing are like hundreds to thousands, and I'm not kidding, times what fees are charged to satellite and what fees are charged to terrestrial stations. Now, we are licensed. It costs a lot of money. Like more on like a ratio type basis, it eats up everything. Any income that you bring in as an internet radio station, kiss it goodbye to licensing. That's where it goes. So yes, people could send me something by Taylor Swift and I can play it legally because we're a licensed radio station. But it's, again, I'm not going to go into the disaster that it is. It's a mess.
Okay.
We are trapped in a really broken system. So
Can I pitch an idea at you?
sure.
You know that whole thing I just mentioned a few minutes ago, but I'm like, hey, let me just show you what I do. Damn it, I needed help. Here I go again. Oh, Des, hey, I'm sorry, bud, I didn't see your post. But good to see you. Enjoy the lurking. Okay, so if you opened a Radio Real Twitch station, you could put up the video screen of Second Life, and it could just be people doing what they do in Second Life.
Yeah.
It would be streaming a video game, essentially.
Mhm.
And we have watched people painting paintings, sleeping cats, putting puzzles together. So it doesn't necessarily, if you're like, oh, well, nobody wants to watch that, you'd be surprised what people want to watch.
I was just going to say that. I'm
Yeah.
like, who the heck's going to want to watch me wandering around a virtual world?
Probably me.
More
do
people than
just-
you realize. Toei, who is on right now, which, by the way, Andrew, would you give Toei a shout out, please?
Oh, yes.
Toei, who's on right now, does like farm simulator games.
Oh,
And-
okay.
But it's very cool because like UFOs will pick up the cows and stuff, so it's cool. More entertaining than you would expect. So my point is, yes, you could do this, and with your staff, when they're running the radio station, if they are simultaneously playing the game anyway, why not stream it?
You know, the one question that I have, I'd have to look it up. I don't know. Is anything that can you run music on Twitch?
Yes and no.
Is it legal?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Here's what'll happen. Yes, you can absolutely play it. It is in the rules. It says don't, but what they do at this point in time is they mute the audio afterwards. So in any archives, any song,
Any replays, yeah.
The songs aren't there.
the songs are muted. But
Okay.
See-
you don't even necessarily have to set it up to have archives. It could be live stream only,
Just
no
live.
archives.
Right.
And if they ever cut down on it, they're going to send everybody a notice going, hey. you know,
Right.
Because when I do mine, I game and have cat cam, and I don't want to listen to the game music, so I listen to my punk and industrial.
Uh-huh.
And the only thing they did is some of the music, they'll mute it
And by the way,
for the archives.
with
But that's
me playing across the board music on Talk of the Tavern, now that I can actually play music unlike last time you were on, the only thing I've had them mute is your big mainstream names. So,
Okay.
Billy Joel got muted, that kind
Right.
of stuff. But when I'm playing any of the steampunk stuff, it's on there
Okay.
afterwards.
Okay.
So my point is, it's in their rules that you're not supposed to, but everybody is doing it. Nobody's getting in trouble, which means if they did decide to enforce it, they would send out a notice going, "Hey, quit it."
That's a no.
Yeah,
So
it makes me leary
I understand.
because
I had a
it's
week and a half where I stopped playing
legally
music.
it's like, oh God, it makes me leery.
It's something to look at and consider and explore. Worst comes worst, you don't put the. By the way, Toei says, beware the nonsense coming out of the EU. They are proposing copyright nonsense so strict that you can't even
Right.
share a meme with some
Right.
image from a movie. We had Feline and Strange.
Really?
Do you know who they are? You need their music if you don't, Gabby. Feline and
Oh
Strange
my
are out of
God, they're
Germany.
awesome.
Great steampunk band, high energy.
Oh, I need them.
They're great.
They're
And
fun.
they were a great interview too, just
Mhm.
dazzling. But they were telling us they're in Berlin, they're about to pass a law. I want to say it was as of 17th. I don't know. Really recent, or just a week or two past, the law is going to affect that you cannot publicly share any pictures with other people in it if they are visibly recognizable. Like if you can
Oh
zoom in and see
wow.
it because you got a great camera with high pixels,
Right.
yeah, you
Right.
can't put that on Facebook on anywhere.
No way.
Okay.
So
Wow.
the EU is
That's why when they did the video for us for our refill break, it was just them two and no one
right.
else.
Yeah, you can get signed releases from people and everything, but when you're doing a crowd
But-
scene at
Right.
the beach, but
Yeah.
even
That's not going to happen.
Joe Schmo on the beach doing a quick 5-10 second video of themselves on the beach. Hi, I'm at the beach. You got people behind you? Nope, better lay down on the ground.
Can't do
Just
it.
have sand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh man. And I'm not surprised because they actually did something. They did a similar rule in Second Life. They changed their terms of service for things in machinima, which are movies made in any game.
Okay, right.
So the Second Life machinima rules changed that you had to get permission from any avatar that was in the shot, and that could be avatars in the background.
And-
Depending on what kind of a thing that you're filming.
And how do you get that
Wow.
permission?
Right, you don't.
Right. Right. And how do you, if you go, well, I got permission from everybody, we're going to do a crowd scene here. How do you stop that other person from just wandering in? I guess in Second
Right.
Life, you build a wall where the door was and nobody else can get in.
Right. You set up, you make it. What people do now is they basically set up private studios, and do their filming there. But
Wow.
Yeah.
Toei says this will benefit the prison industry. Where are they going to put all these horrible offenders?
Toei, they're not going to arrest them. They're going to fine them. And it's a way to make money. It's all about the money.
don't have
Sure,
any
maybe it's
money.
protecting privacy, but really?
no, it's about money.
It is. It's all about money.
So there we go. Toei is of like mind with us. Toei's the one that I don't know if you remember me making a card game called Awkward Compliments.
I do. Yes,
Toei
I do.
One of the folks who made it with me, and she's great. Her
Cool.
name is Wynn Mercer, also a accomplished author, game designer, etc., so on and so forth. All around cool person. So, okay, so now we are up to a break time here in about 90 seconds. Gabby, can you stick with us through the second hour, or do you need to go?
Oh no, I can be with you for the second hour. I'm
Okay.
good.
Shall we
I'm gonna go
hit
get another beer.
Absolutely. Let's hit that refill break and top off our drinks, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Everybody, remember to mute yourselves. We'll be right back. Let me set this up. Kitties. Okay, and we're back. Don't forget to unmute everyone. Okay.
Okay,
Gabby,
we're back.
I wanted
I
to
think
ask.
maybe she was watching it.
I think she was. Were you watching the cats?
Was I watching the
Mhm.
cats? Oh, I did just briefly,
Okay.
and I'm distracted in
You
other
look
windows.
very busy. Oh, is that what you're? That 95% of stuff we can't talk about right now.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this. When I first had the technical issues where I started broadcasting from home and I couldn't stream live across your stream, I did at one point in time mention sending you just the MP3 file and no video. And you said, yeah, that's
Yes.
cool. But
Yep.
now I'm doing it the with the internet I had at that moment. That wasn't even a possibility because it took 3 to 5 hours for that one file to send. But now that I can do this quicker and more conveniently, would you be interested in having that file to play the show? And we're on 4 days a week. Do you want all four?
Yeah, we probably could. Because we run you on Radio Real Steampunk,
Correct.
and there's nothing. I run some audio dramas for Tank on Thursday nights, but that's Thursday nights. And when are you guys usually on?
Well, you wouldn't have to match
And I
times.
could play it anytime I wanted.
Right.
So
Right.
I could play it later. So yeah, we will talk.
Okay.
We will
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah, we could
'Cause,
do that offline. I just figured I'd mention it now so the viewers
Yeah.
can hear. Look, this is what you do.
Yes.
And-
And as long as it's an MP3 file, I can do it.
Right, which I just have to strip it out of the video, and that takes about an hour to process on the computer.
Okay.
Overall, just because putting the 3-hour video into the video processing thing, I have to walk away for 20 minutes while it,
Yeah.
before I can do anything to it. And then stripping out the audio takes 2-3 minutes, and then the processing takes the rest of the time. Oh, here comes another kitty sneaking across the screen. And I know Andrea has a bunch of questions. We talked about it while in the break while we were in the kitchen, so I'm going to let Andrea start just grilling you like a salmon.
Okay, I can take it, I promise.
Okay. Now, with a lot of radio stations, they have commercials, they have advertisers. Do you have that?
Not traditional ones, no. We have sponsors, and I run sponsor messages, and the structure of the sponsor message is based on basically the sponsor messages you hear on NPR. So they are 15 to 18 seconds in length, nothing longer. They are like literally just the basics, the name of the sponsor, what they do, and like a URL or something to more information to learn about them. And that's it. And I've had a lot of people contact me and want to put actual ads, like, that you would hear elsewhere, and I won't do it. So
I understand.
So are those ads? Not really, but it is similar to revenue you'd get from ads, just it's structured differently. It's structured like for a nonprofit.
So is this one when they donate, that's what they get?
Well, it's one of the things they can get. You can just donate, but if you wanted to sponsor something, if you have a business, or even if you're just an individual, because like think about it, when you listen to NPR, you'll hear like the estate of so and so brings you, or it'll name like a couple in honor of their anniversary, stuff like that. You'll hear running. So I do have one guy who's an individual, although he kind of has a business, but if individuals just want to do it, it's a monthly fee for sponsorship, and I have 2 levels. And the higher level, the message runs more times a day. The lower level, it runs less times a day. And
they can email you to talk to you about all of this. Okay.
Yeah, and the sponsor messages are not expensive. It's $20 a month for standard and $40 a month for premium, and it runs on all the streams. Well, with the exception of Fantasy Fair Radio, because Fantasy Fair Radio is a project specifically for the American Cancer Society Relay for Life, and so that's a whole other thing. But the other 6 streams they run all day long, 24/7. So yeah, I've had individuals do that. So sponsorship, not ads. It's a nonprofit
Makes
kind
Gotcha.
of structure.
And I put your email back in the chat. So if anyone wants to contact her for donating and having a sponsorship,
Yeah.
there you go.
And in terms of our streams, listening to the streams, I mean, if you've never heard of Radio Real, you're going to want to listen to the music and make sure it's like your kind of music first. But all this, there's links to all the streams on our website, which is Radio Real, all one word, RADIORIEL.org. And then the way that most people are finding us these days is the TuneIn Radio apps on mobiles. On TuneIn, you can get on tablets or mobile phones, and all the Radio Real streams are listed in TuneIn. We're in their actual directory. And we're listed in a whole bunch of other random internet radio directories, like all over the internet.
Right.
Every once in a while, I'll get emails from someone who's like, "We're putting you in our directory." I'm like, "Okay." One place where we are not listed in iTunes. And there's a reason for that. And no, it's not because Apple's the evil empire, but it's about money. The more people that listen to your stream, the more your license costs. And we did try being listed in Apple at one point in time. It was actually, I believe, Radio Real Steampunk that we put into Apple, like, this was 5 or 6 years ago. And it was a wild success. Our numbers just like went through the roof. But when you're in a business where your license is more expensive based on the more listeners that you have,
Right.
it shot us up into a level where we didn't have the income to cover the license. And it was like, oh, this is great that all these people love listening to us, but we can't pay for this license. And so we took ourselves off of iTunes because we couldn't afford it. Now, if there ever came a day where we could afford it, I'll put us back on iTunes.
Right.
But yeah, people are going to want to listen and hear, what it is we do. And it's some pretty geeky stuff. I mean, how many people jam out to ragtime on a regular basis?
That's very true.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we don't love it. Which, by the way, speaking of ads, you never did get me one so I could put it in our slideshow.
That's right. I'm sorry, I need to do that. You can tell I've been a bit of a spaz late, so.
Oh,
But yes,
only a couple dozen years.
I know. I do. I want to be in your slideshow, Travis.
Well, there's an offer. Hey, I'm doing this.
That's one of those vices we don't talk about.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Right. The first rule of Travis's slideshow is we don't talk about slideshow. Something like that. I don't know. It's So let's see here. What else Andrea, do you have more questions? She's just eating crackers. No
She's
response.
having a cracker. You got her in cracker mode.
Well, mainly I wanted to know about the ads and how that works, and I'm not sure. I'm thinking.
The reason I ask is to keep busy. I went and started adjusting my slideshow, looking, because I'm like, why is Radio Real not up here right now?
Because Gabby's a flake.
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
It's because Gabby's really busy.
Yeah, we're going
This
to go
is
with
true.
the busy thing instead of flake.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah. We're here to make your excuses just like we make our own for these things.
Oh, good.
So yeah, I'm just adding a bunch of slides now.
So, do you have a Twitch channel?
No,
You
we
see?
don't. We don't.
Okay.
And that's really because we are just straight up audio,
Mhm.
and because I wasn't sure about music licensing
Mhm.
for Twitch, which is a concern for me
Right.
because the whole issue is that these laws and these rules and the way licensing is set up is based on pretty much stuff from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and it got written into law in the mid 90s, and it hasn't changed. So, like, were they thinking about things like Twitch? No,
No.
it didn't exist.
No,
Well,
not even in their
I
imagination.
know you have You have different streams. Do you have one that's not music? It's just like talk shows or talking or anything?
Nope, everything is just music.
Okay.
But with the occasional podcast, with the
Okay.
occasional interview, and with pretty regular audio dramas. So you'll hear voices on Radio Reel during a live broadcast or when we're running one of our audio dramas.
So as time grows, you'll have room for a whole nother stream that's not music at all, but it's talk shows.
That could be completely, yeah.
Audio
Yeah. And it would obviously be stuff that is, and this is just me off the top of my head because of what Radio Reel is about, but anything that's vintage, anything that's about history, anything that's about music, anything that's about storytelling and stories, be it actual stories or how to tell stories, because these are all key parts of what Radio Reel has always been. Now, am I open to accepting more stuff? Yes, I actually am. So, but these are the things that are kind of like our core values and our foundation.
These are a few of your favorite things.
Exactly.
Let me ask you. I know there's some stations that do story time. Do you have anything like that where people read their books or poems or?
We have.
Okay.
Not as much recently, but we have over the years. And I've interviewed authors and both interviewed them and then had them do readings from their work. You know, we've never done poetry, but that would be perfect. That would be.
I was gonna say, yeah, if you do something like that, you could just put like a slideshow on Twitch and then have that playing in the background
while they read it. And it's their stuff, so they would agree to have it be out there.
And you could have your little Radio Reel at the bottom, so it promotes your radio station also.
Yep.
That is a beauty part of Twitch, is you set up that interface any way you want. You create your own overlays and everything, so it's very easy to personalize that.
Yeah. And you found Twitch. I mean, you can tell me, do you feel like you've been able to access a bigger audience because of Twitch?
Hugely, yes.
Okay.
It has
Compared to...
Yeah. We have had more growth in 1 year here than 5 years on multiple radio stations.
On internet radio.
iHeartRadio, etc. Google Play.
Right.
Yeah, we have.
Right.
And we have been able to almost completely eliminate Facebook from our recruiting loop for listeners, which is a blessing to me because I am not a Facebook supporter.
Right.
It's a necessary evil at best, and that's what I've got for that.
For now.
Right.
So, yeah, it's also something else. I have started a newsletter, and that helps too. And if you're not familiar with newsletters, let me preach the gospel to you.
Okay.
It's if you are. Okay.
Tell me, Travis. Tell me true. Here we go.
The beauty part about a newsletter is everybody that gives you their email address is saying, I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
It's not like Facebook where they sign up for your thing because they like you and they don't want to piss you off or whatever. Also, unlike Facebook, when you click send, every single person gets it.
Gets it. Unlike Facebook, where it's hit and miss.
Yeah, this is your guaranteed interested audience. And if they don't like it, they unsubscribe and walk away.
Yeah.
So, again, if that's something I can help with, especially if you have a staff member, I'll show you the free ones. When you get over 2,000 subscribers, you then have to pay. But if you have over 2,000 subscribers, indubitably some support will be coming in at that point.
Right.
In whatever form that is.
Well, with a newsletter, that would be a great way to get the information out on how to donate and promote yourself. Because even there may be a lot of people that don't listen all the time and don't hear it, but they'll read the newsletter.
Right.
It's
it's interesting because it's almost like come full circle, the whole newsletter concept, because that was something that people, communities or businesses or projects were doing in the late 90s.
Right.
And so it's like it's like 20 years later, and they fell out. People were using other tools to communicate, but
like Facebook.
Yeah, and then I mean other stuff. Remember MySpace? And
yeah.
Oh, I still have a MySpace account.
so, but I think it's cool that what has ultimately happened is that the most usable tool is the one that's floated to the top.
It's back to
Mhm.
basics.
Yep,
And, what the simplest concept is often the most
the
reliable.
best. Yep, yep.
So it's a thing of beauty, but it does take work, every week or every month or whatever. But you can announce, here's the stations, here's our special shows, and it just works well. Whether you're a writer, whether you're a Twitch show or a radio show or whatever, this is one solid thing. And it reminds people you exist, and then they can use that to pick and choose. Oh, well, thank you for the applause.
Oh, I hear applause.
There's sound
Awesome.
effects. It's
There
no idea who
are.
did it. I usually just
Thank you for your applause.
There we go.
Yes.
All right, yeah. See, that was definitely Andrew. I recognize that scream.
That wasn't me.
Sorry. Sorry, I had no idea that we had sound effects.
Wrong hole.
This is why.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Okay, guys. For any of you who are aspiring screenwriters, regular writers, or any kind of writer, or just want to have a good time, I want you to feel free to write an audio drama. Make it about 20 minutes, which means, yes, you have to read it out loud with pacing before you send it to me. We'd like up to 4 characters, plus a narrator if you'd like. Send it to us at talkofthetavern@gmail.com. Doc or DocX format is the preferred format. And we'll take the best 3, perform them live on air. If we just have 12 that are awesome, then what we'll do, we'll just pace it out every month and do 3 or 4 a month till we get through them all. This is just to have a good time, promote you guys, etc., etc. So.
And it's your chance to test our acting abilities.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Are you looking for like any topic? Like when you say audio drama, it literally can be like anything.
Any topic but pub-like atmosphere or takes place in a bar, pub, club,
Okay,
that type of thing.
gotcha.
So,
We've had some submissions already, and I'm looking forward to more.
but it could be comedy, it could be horror, it could be deep life meaning.
Funky Punk says, what about 20 minutes of heavy breathing?
We already do that as our usual show, but it's 3 hours, so there's no need to duplicate something we're already doing. I'm just saying. It's, by the way, Funky Punk, you'll have fun with this. Scroll down below the video. The first widget you see is going to be a countdown. On the bottom of the countdown, you're going to see points, cheers, subs, and store items. If you click on store items, for each 10 minutes you listen, you get 2 shots. They're like points. You can buy those sound effects you just heard, like the scream. Or we do have an ass, we have a pussy, we have a cock. So you can make those noises. You can also order dad jokes or toasts. Yes, Andrea?
Also, before you can redeem it, I found this out. There is a little box with a little person in it.
There
you have to
is.
click it
Wait,
to
what?
give permission. What?
Nothing.
You have to give permission to use them. And you could always deny their permission
See,
too, because you
somebody
can revoke
found
it.
Yep, I hear it.
I don't know which one of you it was, but somebody's like, oh, there it is.
Uh-huh.
So, good times there. Don't whatever me.
Yeah, if you want to try on Twitch just to play around, we can help you. Or there is an episode we did all about Twitch.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
when we were learning.
And we'll probably do another one like on the anniversary of that episode because we have learned so much more and
since then. Well, that's cool.
So we're all about helping others, which I really should. I need moderators. Yes, Andrea?
I have a channel now. I'm going to do a shout out. Wait, hold on. So everyone can go and just follow it because I need followers. Tonight we will be streaming. Yeah, it works. Tonight we will be streaming Star Wars: Edge of the Empire.
We are.
Family gaming night.
It'll be interesting. So what?
Okay. That's
Oh,
all.
okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I just want people to follow my channel.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Okay. Let's see where we at here. Let me see what other questions I had here. What's your next step? Where are you going now? What are you hoping to do? You mentioned the whole damn it, LLC thing.
The nonprofit stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nonprofit.
I remembered
Yeah.
LLC, but not nonprofit.
Yes. Yeah, 5013C stuff. That and that is the next step in terms of the structure of the station behind the scenes. That's got to happen. But in terms of the station itself, I really want to add more themed streams. And there are several that I already have in mind that I want to do. And because we are like vintage, I do want to do a stream that's like pop and pop standards from the 40s and 50s.
Nice.
And
jerk music.
Right, exactly. And probably bordering on, it's not going to be, it's not going to be what we used to call an oldies station. Right. Of course, now they call, the 90s oldies. Yeah. But the oldies stations of 30 years ago, which were 50s and 60s.
Do you remember when you heard your teenage music for the first time on an oldies station? When Billy Joel or Elton John is suddenly an oldies and you're like, wait, what? I mean, I love that song, but no.
But oldies? No, I'm talking the 50s music. Right. And we'd probably play some of the early rock and roll, but I don't want to delve too far into that because that's really getting into another whole theme, time, era genre. Right. I also want to do a stream of basically for pirates, like sea songs, sea shanties, pirate-themed music.
Why do you seem almost embarrassed by that? I'm excited by that concept.
It is extremely specific. How many people are into pirate stuff?
But we know a lot.
Okay, good.
I think more than you think. Yeah, and also with all the Ren Fair bands out there that do pirate music, not that it'll all be from the 70s, which, by the way, most Ren Fair music, just so everybody knows, is actually like train railroad building music from the late 1800s. And you're like, oh, this song is from the... No, it's not. It's from 150 years ago at best.
Right. So, yeah, pirates. Yo,
well, out here we have like a big thing every year, Blackbird Pirate Festival.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Those people like it.
That's my audience.
There you go.
So, but I'm always looking for more geeky type themes. But yeah, on the artistic creative side, I want more streams. Because one thing I did learn in the beginning, we were really all over the place.
Right.
We kept it to classical. We kept it to stuff that was like, they would have played this in the late 19th century, early 20th century. But our themed shows, when we did our individual themed shows, we jumped around from like classical to contemporary. And I noticed that when we had too far of a switch, that we would lose listeners. And while I knew that there were people who really love eclectic, that there is such a thing as too eclectic for some people, and that people, like it or not, and this is hard for me, the audiophile, like it or not, people gravitate towards specifically programmed genres. That's what most people gravitate towards. I don't.
Sad but true. I'm with you. I'm all over the board and love it all.
Right.
And so on and so forth. But yeah, most people are not me.
Yeah, it didn't. It flew, but not but not great to go that wildly eclectic.
Right.
So, but But the thing is, and this kind of blows my mind, is most internet radio stations out there they're playing stuff that you could find anywhere. They're playing like classic rock, or they're playing, music of the 70s and 80s. I'm glad that they love it and that they're doing it, but I just kind of want to shake them and be like, guys, you got to do something unique. You got to put something in here that makes this different, because anyone could tune into this on satellite. Anyone could tune into this on just their regular commercial terrestrial radio station.
Right.
It's nice that you love it.
If you're going to play that,
But-
at least, if you're going to play Pink Floyd, at least don't play the 10 tracks we always hear.
Exactly.
Grab something else, play something different.
Yep.
And we all love that music, and there's nothing to say you can't drop Thick as a
Right.
Brick for your Jethro Tull, or any of the
The
great Dire
usuals.
Straits tracks.
The
But
usuals, right.
Give us the other stuff that people go, I remember that
Well,
one, or I've
right.
never heard that. Andrea?
Right.
Here's the thing that I like about your station. I find stuff I haven't heard.
Yeah.
Everybody has to start somewhere, so people have to hear them in order for them to get big, like Pink Floyd or
Mhm. Right.
you know.
Right. And that's one of my favorite things this whole time, ever since the very beginning.
Yeah.
These artists, some of them are, a lot of the steampunk artists that we started with that were brand new and hadn't been heard of are now known.
Mm-hmm.
And no, are they like, a huge national act? No, but it doesn't matter, because they're a fairly large, well-known act.
I want to go there. Can the music we've been supporting, these small indie bands, and whether we're looking at the big ones like Steam Power, Giraffe Avenue Park, Frenchie and the Punk, This Way to the Egress, or the small ones
The
that
usuals, right?
I can mention that you haven't even heard of, or that you can mention that I'm like, who?
Yeah.
Can they ever compete? Can they ever be a chart topper?
I don't think so.
I
I don't think so.
have a strong
They-
maybe. But go on with yours and I'll explain mine.
No. I mean, and believe me, I wish they could. I really wish they could. Could they become a chart topper? They could if they produced a track that was, fell more into like a rock category, just straight up rock, or fell into a straight up pop category. But I gotta say that maybe I'm leaning more towards maybe like you, because I'm a huge electronic music fan. I always have been, and loved it, clubbed it, did it all.
Right.
I'm amazed now, 2018, how much electronic dance music, how much of my music is now mainstream,
Right.
how much of it is charting, how these concerts are massive and selling out. And that's one of the concerts I went to this year. I just sat there and I'm looking around and I'm like, oh my God, this is mainstream now. This is so great.
Well,
So maybe it could happen if they had enough of a hook in there, enough of a familiar hook to grab most people.
I think that, if enough people hear of them and share it around, all it takes is that one